Whenever the topic of BlueFace and Chrisean's relationship comes up, do you sigh and look away? Or do you try to get to the root to understand what's really going on? If the second option is the case for you, then come with us on this journey as we try to unravel the mystery behind these entertainers. At this point, the behaviors they are exhibiting are questionable, making us wonder if therapy should be the next option, and what's the way forward for both of them. But before we get into all of that, let's start from the crux of the story. Chrisean grew up in a poor home in Baltimore, Maryland with 11 siblings. Throughout her childhood, her father was in prison and her mother struggled with addiction, which affected her ability to build a relationship with her kids. Before Chrisean would become a teenager, she would have dealt with homelessness and house hopping, which is a terrible situation for any child her age at the time to experience. With multiple younger siblings to look after, life wasn't easy for Chrisean, but she pulled through until she got to college. She joined Santa Monica College as a student athlete and became popular after getting on the TV game show called Ultimate Tag, where she won the $50K prize and gained national recognition. However, $50,000 can only last a short while before running out, especially when you come from a big family with an addict. So, Chrisean had to look for new ways to make money before going broke again, leading her to appear on an OnlyFans show for BlueFace called Blue Girls Club. The entire show happened in BlueFace's mansion, and a bunch of girls had to show they were worthy of being promoted by BlueFace, making the entire concept of the show flawed. Most of the women said the show wasn't what they signed up for, as it was riddled with alcohol, sex toys, and activities they didn't tell them of beforehand. Chrisean became popular on the show for being bold and always ready to fight. It was so intense that she lost a tooth on the show after a fight, and that really sealed her image as a fighter. After the show, BlueFace signed her and one other artist to his record label called BlueFace LLC, and that was when things started to go downhill. By 2020, she started dating BlueFace, and her life never remained the same afterwards, not even for the right reasons. While she was on BlueFace Girls, BlueFace had a girlfriend and baby mama named Jaden Alexis. It turned out that Jaden wasn't aware of the show that BlueFace was shooting at his house. And that was a new level of disregard that Chrisean ignored before getting involved with the rapper. Not so long into their relationship, Chrisean got a tattoo of BlueFace on her neck, a whole portrait of his face on her throat, and there was a social media uproar afterwards. Why? What was she thinking? Was she okay in the relationship? There are so many ways to show your partner you love, but getting a tattoo of their face on any body part is a step you should think about clearly. Now, this is not one of those tattoos or permanent advice. If you feel like you have to modify your body because of your partner, then you might want to reevaluate the relationship, and that was what Chrisean failed to do. After getting the tattoo, people assumed that was the most she could do, but she soon started enduring physical abuse from BlueFace. When Chrisean's family got wind of the abuse, they pulled up to see how they could protect her, and in anger,
"Don't touch my daughter like that ever."
So you teach your daughter to put her hands on me?
Chrisean's father punched BlueFace. Immediately, BlueFace retaliated and hit his girlfriend's father, who had come to confront him for hurting his daughter. But you know what's insane about this situation? Chrisean joined BlueFace to fight her family members who had come to defend her, and that should have sent a strong message to them. Whatever issue BlueFace had with Chrisean was not their business. People soon began to lose sympathy for Chrisean when they found out that she fought back whenever BlueFace attacked her, and they managed to paint her as the aggressor. It's safe to say that Chrisean didn't have a voice of reason to lead her and let her know when things were getting out of hand. Chrisean and BlueFace's relationship is the perfect description of controversies, and whenever their issues started, it seemed like a new song was on the way. There was never a time they were on the blogs for doing something romantic for each other, which should have been the sign to take a bow. But it's not easy for relationships where trauma bonding is the only connection to end easily. In fact, stats show that it takes at least 7 tries for a victim to leave their abusers. For Chrisean, we believe she kept holding on to the hope that BlueFace will one day treat her better and that he was the only one that could heal her. After getting battered and verbally abused, Chrisean will receive a short stint of a public show of affection, which would trick her into thinking there's hope for the relationship. Finally, in 2023, Chrisean and BlueFace broke up, and her fans were happy that she was now free. However, freedom was far from her, as she had gotten pregnant a few months before the relationship ended. Before the breakup, BlueFace accused Chrisean of sleeping with multiple names and trying to corner him with a pregnancy. Chrisean denied the allegations and said it was only because she traveled to Baltimore without telling him that she was dropping those allegations. According to her, they planned to have a child, and BlueFace was simply being dramatic. However, that drama went on for months and led to so much harm for Chrisean. The rapper became a shell and would constantly stalk BlueFace. If he was at a party, you would see her in the corner, waiting for a chance to talk to him and beg him to take her back. When her baby bump was visible, she stalked BlueFace to a club and forced herself into his car while other women were inside the car. It led to a fight, and she was thrown out of the car with her baby bump. Despite the fact that BlueFace had publicly embarrassed her and started going out with Jaden Alexis, his first baby mama, Chrisean was still fighting for her space in his life, and girl, you can do better. Eventually, she gave birth to her son on September 4, 2023, and named him after herself, Chrisean Malone. BlueFace went mad on social media, questioning her decision and asking her to change the baby's name to his surname. However, Chrisean stood her ground, insisting that since he denied the pregnancy and wasn't with her while she took care of the baby in her womb, then he had no right to name the baby after himself. Well, she wasn't wrong because BlueFace publicly denied her and painted her as a cheat, so it was only right for her to take responsibility for her baby. Finally, she decided to move on and started getting involved with 18-year-old Lil Mabu, a young rapper, around October 2023. Most people assume they were dating because of how Lil Mabu presented her in public. One time, he uploaded a video of her sleeping comfortably beside him in the studio, and fans were happy that she looked safe. They released a song together called Mr. Take Your a diss song directed at BlueFace, and netizens started to worry for Lil Mabu. Fans assumed BlueFace was going to jump him, but instead BlueFace didn't respond. He started to whitewash his image by hanging with Jaden and acting like the best father and boyfriend. They were getting on interviews together. He was showing her off on his socials and being lovey-dovey with her. Despite the diss track making its rounds on TikTok, BlueFace kept mute about it for a while. About a month later, he uploaded the list of the artists under his label on Twitter, and it turned out that Chrisean and Lil Mabu were signed to him. Were they playing tricks on people's minds? Were they making fun of their fans? Was Chrisean actually done with BlueFace? The answers to those questions did not matter at that moment because Chrisean had made her stance on her relationship with BlueFace clear. She didn't want to have anything to do with him. Neither did she want him to be responsible for her child. On October 22, 2023, BlueFace proposed to Jaden Alexis at an LA Rams game. The same thing that Chrisean wanted while they were together. Jaden took to her Instagram story to post the surprise proposal. And if you guessed that the internet went wild, you will be correct. Some people were happy for them, while others thought that BlueFace was just trying to hurt Chrisean's feelings. BlueFace claimed he proposed to make Jaden happy, and well, that happiness was short-lived. In December 2023, Chrisean posted a picture of BlueFace and her baby on Instagram in a now deleted post. Per usual, questions began to arise like, was she back to BlueFace? And were they starting their relationship again? If she was or not, the general consensus was that they wouldn't show her any support if things were to go south again, because she had left before and had zero reason to go back. On January 12, 2024, BlueFace was arrested for violating his probation and is expected to spend 1 year at a LA County jail. All of a sudden, Chrisean began to show public love to BlueFace and even made him her Instagram wallpaper. But that's not the worst part. Almost 2 weeks after BlueFace was arrested, Chrisean got a tattoo of his mugshot on her face. Fans speculated that it was fake, but the tattoo artist said it was real, and although they don't tattoo people's faces, they made an exception for Chrisean. The rapper has been using the hashtag #FreeBlueFace on her social media posts, and everybody has taken a step back from supporting her. At the start of Chrisean and BlueFace's relationship, everybody was certain of the abuse because she was young and obviously didn't know better. At some point, it seemed like their issues were for clout, and that may have been true. But right now, Chrisean seems to be making decisions on her own.